So our Week 7 Sunday began here at Wembley Stadium, where the Los Angeles Rams recorded a 35-7 win over the Jacksonville Jaguars. They moved to 5-2 on the season. So, Phoebe, can this team put it together and win a Super Bowl this year?
I mean, after the performance today, it's something really positive going forwards, right? I'd say Stafford, Davante Adams answered a lot of questions we had asked of them. Davante Adams coming up with 3 touchdowns, and then 2 rookies getting a touchdown each. That's exactly what you want to see from this team. And then defensively, 6 sacks against Trevor Lawrence. I mean, they didn't do anything that was spectacular. Of course, the sacks are, but they didn't have to be anything other than just consistent throughout.
They have been there before. You were a part of a Super Bowl team, Sue, with Sean McVay and the Rams. They've been in the playoffs 6 of the last 8 years, so they know how to navigate that second half of the season, don't they?
Yeah, without question. And I think Sean McVay and this group obviously had the pedigree. He's been there before, championship mindset and focus. But I think they're going to have to figure out a way to make sure that they win the NFC West. That is going to be key, as everybody understands that. But that division is very, very tough, and especially there's a lot of good quarterbacks there.
Feels like this whole race to the Super Bowl is wide open, doesn't it?
But I love that. This is what the NFL wants, right?
Of course.
I mean, Week 5, we no longer had any undefeated teams, and the teams that were undefeated, who are they anymore? I mean, there's so many questions at this point of year.
Sue, I equate this race to the Super Bowl a bit like, on Black Friday, when the doors open in the department store and everyone's racing for the TVs.
Yeah.
Somebody's in the lead, then they fall over and somebody else falls. It feels kind of just crazy at the moment.
It's funny you say that, though, because I feel the analogy is very key to all these injuries that we've seen across the league. And something that about that is these teams that would have thought would have been undefeated and been 7-0 potentially, they're kind of out of the race. Like, you look at the Ravens, they look to be decimated with injuries and not even being able to be a playoff team. So we'll wait to see.
This was a tough day for the Jacksonville Jaguars here at Wembley Stadium. It was much like this weather now. Miserable. Absolutely miserable. But the one bright spot is Travis Hunter, who's trying to be the first full-time two-way player in the NFL for 65 years. But we saw him mostly on offense in this game against the Rams. Is that the plan moving forward? Does he have to be offense mostly going forward?
I feel it has to be, right? Because why not just use all of his strengths? And we saw him increase his reps as the game went on and making some big plays. He is a playmaker. You get the ball in his hands and he can do magnificent things. I think if you start to give him a real personnel grouping, you get him integrated into the playbook. Who else is the number 1 receiver right now?
Well, it's wide open for that. From that aspect, they need somebody to take over this offense. But Sue, you were talking a lot today in our coverage about it's not just on the field that's a challenge. It's everything for Travis Hunter if he's going to do both.
Yeah, without question. And I think as a true professional, where he needs to be able to have time to compose, understand, let me tell you, on one side of the ball or the other, is a mental aspect. Because offense is not easy. Defense is not easy. No position in this league is easy to understand and build for, let alone he has outside things from sponsorships and all these different pieces, which should not have effect, but they are part of his overall life. And then taking care of your health. All these different things come into that. To add another 4th dimension that you have to deal with, that's pretty tough.
So this was the 3rd and final London game to be played in this 2025 season. 2 at Tottenham Hotspur Stadium, 1 here at Wembley, and we're going to have more of them. And I guess, Phoebe, the question is, do these build to a London franchise, or have we moved past that now? Are we just going to get a collection of different games? What's your thoughts on where the future might be?
Do we need a London franchise? I mean, I think some people probably would like that, but ultimately, I think we get such a gift that around the world, we get to have all these different NFL teams. We get to experience different cultures and countries. I think that's a really positive thing. I don't think that we necessarily need to have one. I know people talk about Super Bowls, maybe a Pro Bowl, right, where you can come with your family and have fun.
Still got Berlin and Madrid to come, so they definitely are globalizing this and traveling around. Do you think that's moved? Same question, really. Do you feel like we've moved past that, or do you think you could still see a franchise here?
Yeah, I wholeheartedly agree with Phoebe. Do you really need it? Because it is an elite club to be a part of the 32 teams. And to add a 33rd, potentially a 34th, is that make the most sense? I don't necessarily see that. And are you going to move a team out here?
Right.
That doesn't make any sense to me. So I think we stay where we're at right now, and you continue to globalize it with having games. And as the commissioner said, I want 16 international games.
Right.
I wish I was playing. I'm a little jealous.
All those places.
Yes.
I feel like the closest they came was when Shad Khan tried to buy this stadium. When Shad Khan tried to buy Wembley Stadium, I think if that deal had got across the line, that maybe would have been a very different conversation.
And keep in mind going forwards that the Jags are going to be redoing their stadium, right?
2027.
Yeah.
Exactly. So that might mean that maybe this does become a bit more of a home away from home whilst they're building that stadium. I mean, that could be a good test run if they really want to do that. I mean, but we've seen, the Rams flew in the day before.
Right.
And then you've seen the Jags who might be here for 2 weeks on the row. Does it actually affect or benefit performance?
See, I think we'd move past the franchise.
Yeah.
To your point, and the commissioner talks all the time, Roger Goodell talks about the Formula One version of the NFL, the travelling roadshow. But then when the Vikings played in Dublin and then back-to-back in London, the commissioner talked about, well, this gives us a new testing ground.
Mm-hmm.
Why would you need to do that if they were going to just move them around? That to me means that they are still keeping all options open, almost like never say never when it comes to the NFL.
And I would agree with that. You never say never. I think there's always opportunity in figuring it out of what makes the most sense. Because I think if there is a team here in London, for example, based overseas, they also need to have a little bit of a satellite office in New York or somewhere on the
100%.
East Coast where they can bounce it on the West Coast, because that is a lot of travel to come all the way from West and then obviously come out to Europe. It'll be interesting to see what they end up coming up with the final decision, if they ever do one.
Right, yeah. I think if they had to do that, they'd almost base themselves on the East Coast of America, because what if your offensive tackle goes down? You got to work 10 guys out. You're not flying 10 over to London.
Well, that's basically what happened here, right? The Jags
Yeah.
ended up flying over one of the international player pathway guys from the 49ers over here. It's not ideal, but it's pretty much 5 hours, 6 hours each way, from the East Coast to Europe or from the East Coast to the West Coast.
Yep.
So it feels like a healthy balance, and the time difference. I mean, that feels like the most strenuous part of it all.
So, Sue, let's play fantasy regular season games.
Uh-oh.
Where
Okay.
else do you want to go? Where else should we see? I mean, Paris, Rome, where else? The commissioners talked about Asia.
I mean, I think Asia would be beautiful. I think Africa would be very interesting.
Yes.
South Africa, I would love to see something potentially there. West coast of the Africa, Cameroon, Nigeria, you never know from that perspective. And I mean, I think Australia is obviously something that's going to be amazing, an opportunity there. So I think the world is our oyster.
Phoebe?
Yeah, I agree. I mean, anywhere the game wants to be played. I am a lover of sushi, though, so I could do with Asia being on the list there somewhere. Japan, how
There you
nice
go.
would that
Yeah.
be?
I think Paris, I think France will be one soon. I think
Yeah.
there's been a lot of conversations about France. That's,
And
again,
in
growing.
PSG Stadium, that would be beautiful.
Yeah, it's
Yes.
going to be.
I like that.
Well, there certainly are plenty of options for the NFL. I would just say, I'm a long way from home on a rainy night with no car. Do you think they could play in my back garden? Could we? That's probably one for me. We'll leave it there.
Yes.